Five.
Got it. All right. Well, hello. This is the September 4th chapter leaders meeting. We have one of these per month. It's typically goes for a half an hour, and
We have several per month. Just
we have several per month, and they're scheduled by Sarah, whose job it is to schedule them and to remind me how we actually do things around here. Um, I'm delighted to have Anquan here because he is the chapter leader for
To NorCal Enable officially, I guess, and then we also have a kind of a separate coalition that we run called we just changed the name. It was Uganda Enable Coalition, and now it's the United Enable Coalition, just because we do more than one country, I guess.
United e-NABLE Coalition, more
Yeah,
than one country. That's great.
yeah.
And Sarah F., for your information, I've been so impressed by what Anquan and his first robotics trained engineering kids are doing with devices and with the Enable Coalition that I'm urging him to take on a larger and larger role within Enable. He might well soon be um, the identified leader of the big organization, but we're trying to do this gradually and gracefully. So I wanted him to come to this meeting and get a sense of how we currently do things as we think together about how we might do things in the future. Does that seem fair, Anquan, as a description of where we're at right now?
Yeah, I think that's right.
Okay. Sarah, are you able to show your face for a moment? Because I don't think you've met, I don't remember if you've met Anquan before.
I have.
Yeah.
Okay. So as you know, then Sarah does our um, coordination and is currently in Colombia still, right?
No, I'm no longer in Colombia. I was there for 3 weeks, so that was plenty of time.
All right. So where are you now?
Um, I'm I'm back in Philly.
I didn't hear that. You're
Oh, I'm back in Philly.
back in Philadelphia. Okay, cool. And we do have, this is our town hall meeting. We have a chapter leaders meeting from 12 to 1. What we typically do during the town hall meeting is we go through a list of active posts on the hub and see if we can unstick or comment. And so let's go ahead and do it. Um, but I will say, for the thousands of people who are watching this video, that Anquan and his team have now put an ambitious $10,000 Enable proposal up on Lumio in order to help Peter Odama in Uganda deliver the 30 to 50 hands and limbs that he's already received from the Enable from the United Enable Coalition, and to try to develop this as a more general infrastructure for scaling up our activities in other countries and for creating an outlet for Enable makers who have access to machines but don't have access to interesting recipients. So that's going to be up for voting any day now. We typically begin with a discussion period so people can express any concerns or not. But Sarah, I'd ask your help in promoting activity around that, and we'll see where it goes. Now, Sarah, I do not see your link, an email with current hub posts. Do you want to just paste them into the chat so we can get?
Yeah, I mean, I have to, it'll take me a second. I have to open up my email to
That's
pull up
okay.
the email that I sent to you yesterday.
Okay.
Um,
But I can start by sharing my screen, going to the hub. Oh, sharing is not turned on. You'll have to give me permission.
okay, so here it is, 9.4 enable hub posts.
Um, Here, yes, I do see 9.4, but I don't see any posts in
Yeah.
it.
Yep, there if you open it up, all of the posts are right there in the email.
Open it up. Here I am
The
with,
email that I
yes,
sent to you yesterday, not 9 for enable hub posts. You don't see the,
I do not. Yes, now I do. Okay, we're off and running. Thank you.
they're also in the chat now, so.
All right, that's better. Okay, opening the chat, a bunch of links. Here, enable events. Here's what we have. Layla am I showing my screen? No.
Well, it's right there. It says that's not a hub post. That's a message. So you don't need
Okay.
to share your screen for that.
Here we are. It's not a hub post, but Layla, so I forwarded this to Jenny, who's on the call here. And Jenny, there's a request here to add this to the NIH website. So check out the link, check out the NIH website. And Sarah, why don't you forward her Layla's email address?
I have her contact through the hub.
All right.
So yeah, and I replied her, but I think her post didn't include all the links
The information.
about the device, and I got pretty confused a bit about the kinetic collection
So
at the very beginning of our conversation.
Are you corresponding with her?
Yeah, I responded her, and
Okay.
she sent me some like following up additional links about the device. I would probably ask the NIH admin team to probably like unpublish it first and add the proper information to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're on the case. Good.
Yes.
Secondly, am I supposed to click on this, Sarah? The Benjamin.
That's a post that you had shared, and I put it there so that you could talk about it if you wanted to.
Well, that's great. Thank you. Hello. All right. Benjamin Choi, AKA the Harvard Wonderkind. Young Benjamin has gotten a $50,000 scholarship for a remarkably good brain-controlled if I recall, $300 bionic 3D printed device. It gives the impression that it works, and he's now been accepted to Harvard. And I think Vivek and Sarah are trying to get him to come to a bionic design meeting and talk to us, which is all very cool. To continue, we have Saurabh is doing fundraising in the hub. All right. Los Angeles, that's your neck of the woods, on Quan, is interested in starting a chapter, but I want to start one without building the arm myself. The goal would be to raise money. So Layla, the aforementioned Layla, probably, she said, well, actually, we don't raise money, but we do. So I said, we'd welcome your support. And then Sarah said, there are lots of ways to contribute. Chapter creation is wonderful, but you don't have to start a chapter or build a device. You can do all of those things. And you've invited her to come to our meetings, and we can talk things through. And I think that's all great and true. And that's why the hub is there, to allow people to ask questions and get guidance.
They
So
might
now,
they might be interested in fundraising for Uganda initiative or
well, that's right. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, so Anquan, you might want to reach out to Saurabh yourself, yes, Saurabh yourself, because he's in your neighborhood. He
Mhm.
doesn't sound like he actually ought to be starting a chapter, but he knows what he wants to do, and it's something and you in particular, could use help on. So
Yeah, I'll have my kids reach out to him.
we call it to your attention.
Thank you.
Okay. And then Jacqueline, Now I want to go to this one first. Hello, we have a new patient. How long should they last? We've made the unlimited arm, but we don't know how long it lasted. Thierry says, the elastics may need to be changed daily, but the rest, except for the accidental break, should last a couple of years at least. This is the unlimited arm. That's true. I think that's a good answer. So, it's interesting. The unlimited arm is sort of the go-to transradial solution for a lot of people because it's quite easy to make. It's been around for an awfully long time. I'm inclined to think that the gripper Kwawu that Anquan has developed is a better solution for a lot of people. And because the gripper Kwawu uses the castration bands, these heavy duty rubber bands, they certainly don't need changing daily. And I think they're simpler devices and they have a better grip. So I'm going to say, I think you should also consider the newer, more robust, and more durable gripper Kwawu arm currently being made by many people for Uganda and elsewhere. It's newer, more cosmetic, more robust, and more durable. And now it would be really nice to have a link to the gripper Kwawu. And Jenny, maybe you can give me the NIH link.
Sure, definitely.
Okay. And while we're doing that, I'm going to open another window from Jacqueline. She's doing a BA in German on DIYs, and she has a short survey. And I would actually suggest that she reach out directly to all of the chapter leaders on the map as well by email. So I'm going to suggest you do that. I suggest you use map.enable.org to email all of the identified chapter leaders. You may get a better response with personalized outreach. Okay. Click. And now we have something from Courtney. Hello. It's a good question. Has anyone designed a custom silicone gel or gel-like stump sleeve for an upper extremity? I have a customer who had a silicone sleeve from Hanger, but she can't put it on herself because she has cerebral palsy. She uses her stump for stabilization and recently had a minor injury because it was not protected by the sleeve. Well, there's a nice design challenge. Rishab Ray has some experience here. Courtney Knowles has got some solutions to offer. Tim Peters has some good suggestions. Curie Engine or Polycam. Wow. Fill Effects Foamy. These are all things I'm not familiar with. I wonder who Tilo is. No user description available, but he has 2 badges. One for join the community and one for introduce self. Okay, so we don't know too much about TLO. Well, I don't have much to add to that. Anquan, you've done some work with silicone. Do you have any suggestions?
Well, let's see here. Actually, the suggestions currently are actually pretty good. The ones that Rishabh.
I think so.
Yeah.
Well, there we go. And who is Courtney? A certified licensed OT at Illinois Assistive Technology Program. I think that's a relationship that Jeremy Simon developed back in the day. Obviously a great connection. And Anquan, there's an example of something a more active and proactive leader might want to pursue, is working on our outreach. Another player on our team who's not here today is Madison Bondoc from e-NABLE DC, who is paid part-time to do outreach to organizations like this. And I believe she's been maintaining this relationship with Courtney, but she's another person I'd like you to meet, Anquan.
Absolutely.
Okay, and here's the link from Jenny. So now I can copy this. I can close this window. I can finish this post. And there we go. And now I'm going to sermonize for 60 seconds. Anquan
Yes, sir.
and the throngs out there. This is sort of the crux of what we do, right? We have this Enable Hub. People use it. They ask questions. Amazingly, they get answers. Every town hall meeting, we review ones that we might be able to contribute to or help with, because Sarah keeps an eye on the hub more than I do, more than I should, and she collects them, calls them to our attention, and stuff happens. And it's good stuff. Now, included in the stuff that happens is you'll get a case like this, someone saying, I think we should be using silicone. And it turns out I don't have that expertise, but other people do. And there are also relationships and synergies like the gripper Kwawu that Anquan developed is in a position these days, I think, to displace the unlimited arm. Have you played with the unlimited arm yourself, Anquan?
I have. It's a very nice piece of engineering. I think it's very cool. I don't know if the word displace is 100% correct. We're not really here to displace anything. I think for I think the unlimited satisfies a certain niche of what people need or want, depending on your location, and your needs. There's a certain cool factor to it where the person making it feels very satisfied for having made something so interesting. It's almost like building a robot or a transformer. Certainly beats building fidget spinners in your basement all day. So it's very cool. And I think for the person receiving it depends on how it makes them feel. They feel like, hey, I have a hand that I can move just with the power of my mind. I don't have to do anything in specific and just build my elbow. And probably in a developed nation like United States, I could foresee a future where people have more than one type of arm for different purposes. In fact, that already exists in patients who actually have prosthetics. Say, I was talking to somebody who was a farmer, and he has one that's literally just a claw because it's super functional, and he has one that looks like a little bit more like hand, but a little less functional. And one he uses for one purpose, and when he's out on the farm, he uses the thing that looks more like a grip and a claw. And I think for a place where we can afford to make more than one, or the person creating it has the time and the space to make more than one, where the grip qual is a bit more cosmetically aesthetic, um, probably a bit more functional, just because the grip strength is better. And it doesn't require that you bend your elbow every time you want to grab something. I think has a very nice feature, but there might be a call for somebody who wants that kind of action. So I don't know that it will completely replace. Now, the one advantage that the Group Quad, well, multiple advantages that the Group Quad has is the idea that in places like Uganda or places like Gaza or some of these other places, it's actually a huge, much more of a social stigma to have a disability, and having something that looks a little bit more robotic like the Unlimited is actually a detriment. You know, here in the US, we ask
That's
for
right.
different colors, we ask to look like Iron Man, we ask to look like the Hulk. There, they just want it to look like their skin tone as close as possible. That was the first request is please don't make it purple and orange. Please make it closer to our own natural skin tones. The nice thing about the gripper qual, which, you know, we didn't develop the gripper hand. That was Skip, who had made it, I believe, on Tinkercad, which is kind of amazing.
That's right.
There's a little veins on the hand. It's very nice. What we did was we just took existing devices. That's why we kept the name attribution of gripper and qual. That's just a hybrid. My high school students actually did it. So, and the advantage of it, number one, for shipping, it's a lot more durable. We've actually had people ship the kinetic hand with broken pieces, even wrapped in bubble wrap, even unlimited. We've shipped and had broken pieces. They don't actually have a 3D printer in Uganda that we have access to. So we could probably get access. We know a couple people, but it's not a simple thing. Number one. Number two, a lot of the places are physically separate from the central area that we ship to. So World Action Fund is in Kampala, I believe. And some of these places are 100, 200 kilometers away that they're actually delivering it to. So it's not a simple thing. If you break it on site, then having it repaired is not an easy thing. I was talking to a gentleman who runs Garo Assistive Tech in Tanzania, and he was talking about it's very important that they're able to repair things on site. His group builds custom wheelchairs for people over there because most wheelchairs here are made for paved roads, and they don't have a lot of paved roads. He said it was very important that he make a wheelchair that's easily reparable with just bicycle parts, that just things that you can find somewhere, anywhere. And that because he says once they build, they never see those patients again. They always leave and they're, several hundred kilometers away. There's no way that they can come back and repair it. It's
Yeah.
like a time trip for them. And so the same thing is true for the group of Quawo. The advantage is I took a mallet to it and hit pretty hard until I could finally break it. And it would only take one swing of the mallet to break the Unlimited, I promise you. So the advantage is transportation. The second is aesthetics. The third is the grip strength is a little bit improved compared to the Unlimited. We've also made it one thing we were worried about is people being able to pick up like a row or a hake or sorry, a hoe or a rake or something of that nature.
Yeah.
The Quawu's gripper Quawu, the diameter of the hand is just a little bit too big for a rake. So what we did was we cut up some pool noodles, and the pool noodles can act as a kind of a wider base, and it actually makes it so that you can actually grip a broom handle or a rake. So we're still currently testing that out. One of the complaints that our contact over there was like, well, it's not that easy to get that pool noodle over, so we're just going to put a little slit over so you can just wrap it around. So it's kind of an interesting, as opposed to an interesting engineering problem, it becomes an interesting problem in practicality for the end user. So, and something relatively inexpensive. Pool noodles don't cost very much. So we're kind of looking at different things, not just durability. We're looking for
Yeah.
ease of transport, ease of reconstruction, things like that. So
I think
we
it's a really good analysis. I've some kind of a multidimensional space or identifying those dimensions and helping people say, okay, I'm in this quadrant might
yeah.
be helpful. Because I think you're quite right. That there's the superhero factor, there's the durability factor, there's the transportability and buildability factor.
Mhm.
And as I think about it, those might also be sequenced.
Yeah.
Obviously, you want to start. It could be there's a decision tree that
Yeah.
works you out through those paths. Because until you've experienced
Hmm.
these things, it's not obvious that those are the right dimensions. And
Right.
frankly, after a while, you fixate on certain issues. Like for me, I
Hmm.
tend to focus on functionality these days.
For sure.
That's why I'm enthusiastic about the Gripper Kwawu, but there is no question that enables great success in the past
Hmm.
has stemmed from the superhero factor.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And it's an interesting problem to have. And even like one of the most gorgeous I'm going to plug the kinetic hand. I think it's a gorgeous looking hand. It's very realistic. Ugandans love it because it's pretty.
Right.
Grip strength is just as poor, I think, as the unlimited, mostly because the string actuation is actually difficult. But one thing, the only problem with the kinetic hand on the production side, it's very intricate. It's not for the beginner,
Right.
and even for the expert assembly person, it takes hours, days,
Sure.
weeks to put together, which I think is a problem when you're trying to scale up. If you're just trying to make one hobbyist to one patient, it's great. Unlimited is same. Unlimited's quicker. It doesn't require as much TPU. But it's the same idea. It takes some time to construct for the hobbyist. It's fine, one person. But if you're trying to scale up, I mean, you know this, John. He sent me a spreadsheet of almost 400 cases. And I said at the rate that people were producing previously, we would be done with you in about 20 years. So so
Right.
we had to have something that could be scaled. The advantage of the group require was the assembly time. Print time is the most time. The assembly time is probably about 20, 30 minutes, and the cure time for the epoxies is about a day, but you're not watching it while it's happening. You can just leave it aside. So, with our little 15-member team, I challenged them to be able, I want you, if we could dedicate some time to this, could you make 7 limbs per week? And we just looked at our choke points, looked at how it was constructed. And for about a couple months, we were doing 7 limbs per week. So we kind of backed off because the kids actually have homework. But, but
And
it is, go ahead.
um, the chapter leaders meeting started 1 minute ago, so
Uh-oh.
All right. I've got a link in the chat.
can we
Okay.
just all go to that other link? And just in case other people wanted to join that, I don't want anyone to miss
Absolutely.
out. Okay.